In this daily drop, I'm going to give you some of my initial thoughts on the just announced Sony FX2. So let's go. Okay, everybody, here we are again, coming towards the end of the week. And today, when I'm shooting this, May 28th, 2025, Sony just announced the FX2. So this is not a replacement for the FX30 or the FX3. It is on its own camera system, if that's the right way to put it. And unless you've been living under a rock, you are aware of this camera. You've probably been hitting up a lot of videos about this camera, and you have probably also seen not just the people's viewpoints about the camera, some positive, some negative, some in between, but also the comments for the various posts that are out there, whether they are written articles or they are video-based. And there's a fair amount of negativity around the camera, which is a little bit of a head scratcher to me. And I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts and feelings on this. I have, as a camera user, been using both Canon and Sony cameras probably more than any other cameras in my career. And I have not only used those cameras, but I have owned cameras from both of those companies as part of the work that I do. So I have a lot of experience with the FX30. I also have a lot of experience with the A7C2, and that's an interesting camera because that camera, which is still available from Sony, has the same sensor as the A7 IV, and that is the sensor, to my understanding, that is in the FX2. Now, I've been talking about the FX3 for a long time, and the one issue that I have with the camera is that it is a 4K mirrorless camera system that will shoot in 4K in full frame, but when you switch the camera over to Super 35 to a crop mode, you cannot shoot in 4K anymore. And that has to do with the number of megapixels that sensor has. And I have talked to not only other people, but even Sony about the idea of a higher megapixel camera in the FX line so that when you're shooting in 4K, you can do so in full frame and also in a crop mode. Well, that's essentially what we have with the FX2. And we also have what I would consider a true hybrid camera. Because when you look at the FX30, you look at the FX3, one is a Super 35mm sensor, the FX30, one is full frame, the FX3. You have two cameras that, in my mind, are really mirrorless cameras in that form factor that are designed for motion capture. So that's really their purpose. And while I really would like the FX3 to have a Super 35mm mode, which would need to have a higher megapixel sensor that will let you do 4K. That's just not what's in that camera right now. Will we see that in the future? Will there be a Mark II of the FX3? My guess is probably yes, based on where this FX2 sits. And you know, I've seen the negativity that people have posted about the FX2. It's an old camera. It's just rehoused, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Too little, too late. And then comparing it with other newer mirrorless cameras from other manufacturers. The reality is that at this price point, around $2,600, $2,700 US for the body only, I think that they are putting out a camera that is the right camera for that price point. People can disagree with me about that, but having used the A7C2 for a long time, I like that sensor. And yes, the elephant in the room is that the readout speeds in terms of rolling shutter are not quite what people would want. There's always trade-offs, and it will have a lot to do with your style of shooting. If you're more locked down, you're more studio-based, you're more tripod, panning, tilting, so on and so forth, it's probably not going to be an issue. If you're doing a lot of handheld work, a lot of whip pans, a lot of fast motion. If you're maybe shooting things like sports, or you're shooting things like skateboarding or skiing and things like that, this is where things might be a little bit of a problem. Also, vehicles, fast moving objects, things like that can be issues for rolling shutter. But that aside, when I look at the camera overall, I'm seeing a lot that I like. The dedicated stills and dedicated movie or film or video mode. That sensor, which is now going to give you the ability to shoot in full frame and in Super 35 and retain the 4K resolution. That's another thing that people are complaining about. They're saying just a 4K camera. I mean, the reality is nowadays it's always nice to be able to capture an image at a higher resolution so that in post you have flexibility. But these cameras are so sharp. They are so good at the images that they capture that if you are, um, you know, if you're composing with purpose for your productions, you still have leeway as long as you're using good glass and you've got any of these modern mirrorless or digital cinema cameras, you can always punch in 10, 15, 20% and hold that image. Maybe not as much as you'd like, capturing at 6 or 8K and then being able to reframe and having more flexibility. But I don't think that's a deal breaker in my mind overall. Also, camera body style wise, very similar to the FX30 and FX3. So, you're talking about what can be a cageless camera with some mounting points and things like that, long run times, because obviously there's a fan, there's intake, outtake, all of that good stuff. And I just think that, I've read a lot of comments that this is not going to be a camera for a lot of people, and I'm not sure that I agree with that. I mean, if I look at the A7C2 at about $2,200, $2,300, I look at what you're getting with this camera for a few $100s more, and I would say that if you were looking at an FX30 or if you're looking at FX30 or A7C2, this is sort of a great combination of both of those cameras. And we have a built-in electronic viewfinder. Imagine that. And that is something that I think is a welcome addition. There are some third-party solutions now on the market, one of them being the Kinfinity Eagle HDMI EVF. But there's a lot of work involved to getting that to be a part of your kit, especially when you're putting it on a small mirrorless camera body like that. You've got to power that thing, USB-C or however you're going to do it, and it's bigger, and this is just built into the camera body. So I personally really like the fact that there's an EVF as a part of the FX2. And while there are always going to be things that people have problems with when it comes to camera systems in general, I think that for about this price point, especially when you consider what they're calling the AI features, we're supposed to have an improvement in AF on this camera over cameras like the FX30 and the FX3. They're so rock solid, those other two cameras, that an improvement is kind of blowing my mind, because when I'm shooting on a camera like the FX30, I'm not even thinking about AF, especially with people. And I know that we have additional detections in the FX2 in terms of what it can do. But all in all, when I'm looking at this camera, personally, I think there's a lot of camera there for the money. Is it the perfect camera for everybody? Absolutely not. And there are other offerings by other companies like Panasonic. I don't know how that AF system is on their new cameras. If it's great, then obviously that's a contender. And then don't forget, while it has been on the market for quite some time, you also have the R5 C. Not the same price as the FX2, but you're talking about a mirrorless camera that has native 8K capture, and that's sort of, one of the unique things about that. So we have lots of choices now, and these are just initial thoughts, but I actually think that this is a good move for Sony personally. It won't be the right camera for everybody, and for a lot of people, it still may make sense to go, if they're in the Sony ecosystem, with something more like the FX30, because it's less expensive. You can get that camera with something like the Sigma 18-50 f2.8 lens for right around $2,000 US, just slightly above. we just continue to never have had it better. I don't even know if I said that correctly, but I think you get the idea. Love to hear your thoughts on the Sony FX2. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.